Hello everyone, it's Jules by Jude. I'm glad to be back in my little studio here and to get started. This little cutter is a little shell cutter, as you can see, from Bakerlogy. And I purchased another Tree of Life and a couple other cutters. Now, Bakerlogy is a baking company that makes baking products. But as you all know, we can sometimes double our cutters as polymer clay. And that is what I intend to do today with this little shell. So, this is the company. If you're interested, I think they're out of the UK. Very nice person. I emailed them and they emailed me back. And just like to throw it out there that no, I'm not sponsored by anybody. So if I like something, I like it, and I like to do that for them. They don't ask me. Sometimes they don't even know. So it's all okay with me, though. So I'm going to do here is show you what I have. I've chosen these colors because I like them. The peachy color, okay? This is a Skinner Blend, and it's Kato clay. I chose Kato because it is the stiffer clay, and I think that I might have a better chance of this not sticking to the clay. Fingers crossed. Some of the softer clays will stick to the cutters, and it's almost impossible to get it out. So this cutter is a little deeper because it is a cookie cutter. So that means my clay needs to be thicker, which makes it additionally more difficult to get that clay out of the cutter. So what I've done is a Skinner Blend, and as I said, I used Kato clay, and I doubled it on my thickest setting. Okay, so I have pretty good thickness going on there. All right. I've chosen to, let me see here, place I want to see where my graduation in color, where I want it to be, knowing that this is going to be the top of my pendant, and it is going to be a pendant, by the way. So I can either go and have that on the darker top, like so, or of course the other option would be a lighter at the top, going down, and I think it's the way I'm going to do it. So I'm going to take a little look at this, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to press this into the clay, and then we're going to cross our fingers. Let's move this down a little bit more. There we go. And of course, my bad habit is not realizing whether I'm on the clay or not. Just one of my things, I guess. But it looks like I'm all the way on. And I'm going to press down. Now I'm going to use this plexiglass piece to push down into the clay, keeping in mind that it's very sturdy cutter, and it's a deep cutter, and the clay is going to be thick. So I am going to have to put some pressure on this. I can feel it sinking, and I do rock it a little bit. I don't rock it up so that it comes out of the clay though, and hopefully that it doesn't distort the clay where I don't want it to be distorted. And I do think I have pressed it in. I want those ridges in the shell to come out. The good thing about something like this, though, is that you can always press that back in if you think you need to. Alright, now I did not use a release agent with this, okay? So my recommendations, because I did try this previously, and I did have some issues, and it primarily was with the softer clay. I tried water to no avail. That only made it worse. I was going to try oil and decided against it. I refrigerated the clay that I was using, and that was better. So if you don't want to go out and buy a stiffer clay, you might want to refrigerate it or put it in the freezer. It will work much better than nothing or even water. So I would do that. Now, let me pull this up and see how we did. As always, if your piece does not cut all the way through, and I had a feeling that the top would be the part that didn't, you can either tug a little bit away just to see if it'll come away. If not, you can always use your X-Acto knife to finish off the job, and that's probably what I'll have to do here. No biggie, because as I said, we're already aware of the challenges here. So and it's a pretty thick crease in here, so that's not going to even be an issue either. So boop. As far as the clay stretching, because it's so thick, it's almost a non-issue. Okay, so I wouldn't say that you'd be able to tug on it, but you definitely don't have to worry about it pulling too much with a light gentle touch or pull. So I'm going to just clean this up around the edges. I really like this Skinner blend that I chose, and I'm trying to debate whether or not I want to enhance it with any kind of mica. And I'll let you know that when I get to that part. So I just want to make sure I get some of this excess here. Now, this blade is not my best blade. Let me see if this one will work better. I'm going to check it to make sure I don't have any clay, so I don't have any transfer. There we go. That is much better. Okay. You can always use your finger to smooth some of that down. I can see where it pulled up a little bit for some reason here, or it had something on it. Could have been the cornstarch that I used. I might not have been able to get that all the way out of the previous cutting process. So I'm going to smear that away, and the Kato process, or clay, I'm sorry, is very easy to work with when it comes to using your fingers and hands, because the warmth only allows you to do more with the clay, which, because it's so stiff, sometimes you have the opposite where it's hard to work with. So in this instance, it makes it much easier to be able to handle without distortion or too much distortion. All right. I'm going to get this moving along for you. Now, because this is a shell, I have a choice. You know, some shells, they curve in, and I did do a piece of that previous to this piece, and it curved in a little too much for my liking. So I may try it again on a glass where it's not too curved. It can be that way, but I'm not sure I want it that way on a pendant, because it's a shell, as you know, different shapes and sizes, anything goes. So if that was to be used in another part of a project of yours, very acceptable. Very acceptable. Yeah, I'm trying to do this so that it's preventing me from having to do too much sanding, if any at all, after my piece is baked. And I will bake this at the recommended temperature for Kato clay. There's a little bit of a challenge there, get that in there. But amazingly, can use your fingers and your hands with this clay to almost sculpt it at times. So it's very, very good to work with in that sense. Be a nightmare in other aspects of the polymer clay, but this project was working beautifully. And as far as clay goes, there's a lot of women and men who have great tutorials out there ready for your use to learn all different things, like how to make the Skinner blend, which I may even have one, and all other aspects. Very talented they are. Okay. Let me see something here. This is kind of what I'm going to go for. I used a can earlier. Did not work. Not work for me at all. So it was just way too curvy. I had no desire to have it set on my neck like that. Now what I'm trying to do now is just trying to decide whether I just want to keep that like that, and I think I do. I think I prefer that. I know it seems like very, very simple, and the Skinner blend I guess would take the longest, but I think it's just a beautiful shell. I really had to show it. And I've kind of been behind, a few personal things going on and a few fun things going on. So trying to make the videos pretty steady so I get them out there and get used to doing what I like to do. I had a few classes I had to teach unrelated to polymer clay this time. So there you go. Now I'm going to bake this, as I said, and then I will be back to show you what it looks like. Thanks. This one here is the one you watched me make today, and then this one here is one I made previously, which was a test one, and I didn't like the color so much, even though if you look at it really close up. And it's also sprayed with acrylic, and this one is not sprayed with acrylic. So, and I didn't like how curved it was, so I used a glass on this one and a can on this one, and this one was much more curved. So it's just going to be a matter of a preference for you guys. But this is a pinch bail. I just drill a hole in there and push the pinch, you know, just push it right through. So this is what it looks like. You open it up, okay, and just push it through. And there's different sizes, and this is really a good size for this pendant. So I like it. I don't know if I'm going to put another crystal on that or not, but pretty much this is your finished product. Just put a cord through it, or a chain, or whatever your preference is, and you're set to go. So this was another one of my videos. I hope you enjoyed it. It's Jules by Jude. If you like the video, please like it. And if you like it, share it and subscribe. Thank you, and have a blessed day.